Hi, I'm Terry Liskevich with The Art of Coaching. I wanted to talk to you today about coaching female athletes. What's the difference in coaching men and women? And through my experience from 25 years plus in coaching in college, both men and women, men at Ohio State, women at the University of Pacific and Oregon State, and then 12 years of coaching the national team, there's a few things that I've discerned that are differences. So the first difference, men are more hierarchical. They're going to listen from top to bottom, particularly when it comes to leadership. So the difference with men and women in that regard is women are going to do what? They're going to have more connectedness as a team, and also their leadership patterns may be more of the web, bringing people together, being part of the web. And I think that that's a very important difference. You know, men like to be led by powerful leaders and by people that are just going to maybe push them really hard without any consequence. But women, hey, women are going to really work hard for you once they know that you value them as a person. And I have a great quote from a friend of mine, Anson Dorrance, the great coach at the University of North Carolina women's soccer. Anson always says, they could care less how much you know unless they know how much you care. And that, I think, is a big vital difference in the way a structure of a team with women and a structure of a team of men. And part of women need to have additional incentives beyond winning. They need to know that, in my mind, process is more important than outcome. Now, obviously, as a coach, I think process is important both for men and women, but I think women are going to care about the process a lot more than just the outcome. Men may concern themselves only about the outcome. Did I win this drill? So based on that, if you look at somebody like Carol Dweck, that really has published a great book, Growth Mindset, you need to think of the growth mindset in terms of coaching women, that it's process more than outcome. And hey, you need to praise their hard work and their effort as opposed to just the outcome. Team chemistry is critical for coaching women. And I think that anything that you can do in building good team dynamics, making sure that you have an established team culture is going to be so very important for you as a coach in coaching female teams. I think here's some little things that you can do. Let them socialize in the beginning of practice. So take 5 to 10 minutes where, hey, before you even start anything, they may be during a team stretch, or just have them socialize a little bit, so that gives them more of that connectiveness. The other part that you can bring into the picture is for them to have a good cohesion with you, you have to have a good mutual trust and respect going both ways between player to coach, coach to player. And if that occurs, then they will feel comfortable in a good bond with not only the coaching staff, but also building that mutual trust among the players themselves. That is so important. I really feel in coaching women. Praising them for teamwork, or praising them for what builds teamwork, is another little tidbit that you can have in really building that cohesion and team chemistry. Lots of what I found in coaching women has to also do with little cliques that they form. I think particularly at a younger age, a lot of females will just partake with who their friends are in any activity. So you as a coach have to be mindful of that. So you, both in practice and in non-practice settings, how do you avoid cliques? Well, hey, make sure that you create the groupings of what the group drills are, or who the partners in warm-up every day are. And even when you're, let's say, in a situation where you're having a team meal, mix them up a little bit. Don't have the seniors sit with the seniors or juniors sit with the juniors. Have them mingle with different teammates that aren't part of their original clique. Very important. And as a coach, you need to make sure that you establish very good communication patterns with your female athlete. That means it's really a two-way communication, but I'm going to tell you, you need to listen more than you're going to talk. When you're communicating with your athlete, hey, just a simple, hey, how are you doing today? Or, hey, how's that class going? There's a great anecdote. John Dunning, several years ago in practice, took his setter at the end of practice and said, hey, Maddie, how's that car buying going? Because he knew that she's looking and buying a new car, and that's just a way to be connected with your athlete outside of practice, and then they will know that you care about them as a person and not just as a volleyball player. I think it's important that you emphasize that you're always there for them, to listen and to make them a better player. Remember, you're working on the process of making them a great volleyball player. And Tony DiCicco, the great coach of the USA women's soccer team and the World Cup champion in 1999, had this phrase that he and his psychologist, Colleen Hacker, would always say, catch them being good. So if you want to really underscore that's what I want you to be doing, once they do a skill well, or once they do any behavior that you want, that's when you need to just say to them, hey, that is terrific. So don't criticize as much as praise, and catch them being good is the best way to do that. Confidence is the next item I want to address. I've coached some of the greatest athletes in the world playing volleyball. And when they'd have a really good play or they had a really good match, and you'd come up to them and you'd go, hey, that was outstanding. They may say, I was lucky. Whereas a male would be maybe running around the court waving an American flag. But a woman sometimes doesn't want to just go out there on her own to say, I was great. And a lot of that has to do with the way we teach confidence to young girls. And I really feel that that's a portion of a player's development that you really need to spend time developing with women. And that's just a whole confidence, the building of self-esteem. How does that work again? It's back to they knowing that you're going to provide safety, you're going to provide trust, you're going to provide loyalty. If you do that, that's going to get them to be a little more confident. And then to truly be great, you've got to work with them to get them out of their comfort zone. Because, again, confidence is built on you taking steps to be beyond what you can do. You have to venture to fail in order to become really good. So you as a coach you have got to spend time with females, telling them that, hey, it's okay to fail. You're going to make mistakes. I'm there to support you. And you're going to get worse before you get better. And hey, that's kind of pushing them outside of their comfort zone. One of my great assistant coaches on the national team that has passed away, Greg Giovinazzi, would always tell our national team, hey, the mirror test. You want to wake up in the morning and on the mirror you want to have written out, I am a great athlete. I am a great volleyball player. I am a great person. It's giving those self-affirmations to you as a person to really build that inner confidence. So one of my great moments in coaching women, I left a Ohio State men's team that was very good, and we had 3 of our players played on the men's gold medal team in 1984, and I had almost the entire team returning, and I took the job at the University of Pacific, and this was many years ago in 1976, and I had one player that I recruited, and she was our best player. She was our captain, and one time during a match in that first year, she was really struggling, and I all of a sudden during a timeout, the way I felt that, hey, I can really instill just some fighting spirit and getting a player to play better, the way I would approach my men's team, I would kind of say to one of my players, hey, we're counting on you, get after it. So we have a timeout at Pacific, and she was our team captain, and I come up to her and I go, Debbie, we're counting on you tonight. Come on, what's going on? You're not playing well. And as the timeout's over, the whole team comes up to Debbie and kind of puts their hand on her shoulder saying, are you okay? Are you okay? Well, after that match, Debbie came up to me and said, hey, don't ever point me out in front of my team for good or for bad. So that was what I found out very early, that, hey, it's almost better, particularly in coaching females, to maybe praise publicly, but even better to praise one-on-one, and certainly criticize only one-on-one. And whereas with men, you may stimulate them to be better by all of a sudden evoking some kind of a, hey, we're counting on you, go after it. You need to just make sure that you use more positive reinforcement, and also just make it more informational. Don't evoke emotions and so forth. So as an example, you can be more specific and just tell them exactly, hey, I think you're going to be better off by making sure that you're going to help your middle blocker on that one set that they're setting on the other side. So make sure you as the setter adjust to the right and do that one-on-one with them. And I think keeping it to information and keeping it to positive reinforcement is the best way to deal with them during a match. There's 3 books that I want to show you that would be great resources for you. The first is a book that was written in 2018, How to Coach Girls. It's by both a collegiate women's head soccer coach, and then also a mother of a girl that played on soccer teams. It's good. And I'm going to read you a little excerpt from this book. Communication is very important. Girls are people pleasers by nature. So they want to feel like they are doing right by their coaches, and they want to work hard. Positive reinforcement and encouragement are essential. At the end of the day, the players want to have fun, but as coaches, it is our responsibility to still teach the game the right way. There is no reason why coaches can't make sessions enjoyable and allow the players to learn at the same time. Finding balance is the key. And that was a quote from Sarah Dacey, who's the head women's soccer coach at Barry University. Another little excerpt is from Eric Johnson. He's the head coach of the women's basketball program at Boston College. He says, my advice to a girls' youth coach is to focus on the culture of the team. If you emphasize and teach body language, eye contact, hustle, togetherness, energy, attitude, responsibility, communication, focus, etc., then everything else you teach about your sport will be better. These are the skills that kids need in school and life. Sport and real life mirror each other as they reward those who display those characteristics. So a lot of great pearls in this book, and you'll enjoy it. The second one is, we've already mentioned Kathy DeBoer. Kathy, the executive director of the AVCA, wrote a book about 10 years ago, Gender and Competition, How Men and Women Approach Work and Play Differently. It's a terrific read. There's a lot of very good things in this book. And finally, someone who has coached both men and women at North Carolina, Anson Dorrance, coached both the men's soccer team and the women's soccer team. One of his earlier books, Training Soccer Champions, has some great chapters on coaching women. And I think that it's, again, an invaluable resource for you as you go forward.